So that goes over pretty much what would just elf itself. You know what we think about it, whether it's powerful or not. What we could do to fix it. Now, Admiral actually also put out a thread the other day about questions you wanted to ask. Everyone wants to ask the committee. So I'm just going to go through a few before we end the first Nerf podcast, and then hopefully Admiral will have fixed his headset for next week.
Wonderful, can't wait.
Okay, so just having a look.
Stop buying headsets from Chinese retail shops.
So we should probably just choose like one person to answer each one or something, I guess.
Yeah, I think we should go with the one based on elf, given it's actually.
Well, I mean,
yeah. Where is it? There was one here. Sempronox. Let's go with Sempronox. He asks, what combo is best to use with elf at the moment, in general?
sorry, can you repeat that one more time? I didn't.
He says, what combo is best to use with elf in general?
Combo.
Best. I guess you could say heavy.
Yeah.
Are we talking like combo with like the elements, like combining your elements?
Or like
I'm guessing
combos
here
of abilities, or what?
Well, I mean, I'm willing to.
He's asked this.
Alright, let's answer both. With abilities, it's definitely just Earth Element spam.
Nah,
I mean, you can't combo abilities.
I have an
both.
interesting
Oh boy.
take on this. I actually like Wind Earth together, especially on maps with Void, because you can wind a soldier or a class like that expects to be able to climb back on slightly into the Void, especially if they're going behind like the Flagrum like Blackout or something, and then immediately Earth Element the side of the map, not allowing them to climb back up.
Okay, yeah, that definitely works.
And again,
my
that
personal
is a-
favorite is Wind and Water together. So because I really like annoying people thinking that I'm going to damage them, and then suddenly just flap them away.
yeah. Earth Pure is another notable combo, which oftentimes will allow you to line up the pure shots and get your damage stacked because they're pretty much rooted.
Perfect. Winter, what's your favorite combo?
I actually really like Pure and Earth as well. Or Earth Pure, I guess, in the order that you would use them. But yeah, I like that. Because it gives them the slow.
Alright.
I mean, he's asked about 4 different questions here.
I just like
Well,
spamming the shit out of
as
Earth
far as
Element,
the class
honestly.
combos go, my personal favorite, and this is due to no special interaction with anyone who's good at the mage class or anything, but mage and elf together are so strong if played correctly, because free spell sets up what you can do is right before it's about to go away, you shoot it with an earth element, it roots the player, and you can land a free pure shot onto them. And mage can lightning a player into the void, and if the elf has accurate enough aim, like against a soldier or an elf on the other team, it won't allow them to climb back on because you can earth element them off.
That sounds so nasty.
And again, it's not by any means easy. Austin lightnings people off a lot in any practices, and I've done it like twice in like 6 practices.
So,
But when you pull it off.
What we really need to stress right here is the best elf combo with different classes is Elf and Austin.
Elf and Austin, yes.
Elf and Austin.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of other potential combos too, though. Like, I mean, Elf Ninja is always good because you can.
I mean, Elf with any offensive class because you can essentially, from afar, put out a player from stealing flag. That's...
Well, it allows classes like Ninja and Heavy on defense to get consistent DPS out as well if you root a player with Earth Element.
It's pretty good for, I guess. I mean, it's pretty good for soldiers because Earth Element. And
Elf
of course,
Pyro's notable because Earth Element keep them there for frenzy. Yeah, free hits.
It's pretty good with quite a few classes.
Anything melee really, and then anything that does any sort of crowd control, I guess, because comboing crowd control just makes it stronger.
I would say the one thing that Elf does not work with at all is Archer, and that's because it reflects all your shots. It's annoying.
Yeah, it really doesn't work with Archer.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to defend an Archer from damage,
Yeah.
it'll
actually-
do that, but it won't.
That is
actually-
something I like. Because here's the thing, if like there was ever an Archer that played CTF that was like so good that in like almost any of their shots, I would give up a player in a 12v12 to like perma elf shield them. Like honest, like if they were that good, right? That like.
With that said, if you could, in theory, fix the interaction with the elf shield and friendly projectiles, then it would become quite a good synergy because you could reflect your, as Miski say, you could reflect every arrow from potentially attacking your archer whilst he headshots everything.
Well, that would mean the enemy archer has to avoid both your arrows and his own arrows.
Yeah.
Your arrows, his arrows, and possibly the elf's arrows.
Which is pretty damn impossible to do in an extended archer battle.
If it's against Brandino, you will be crying.
If it's against anyone that knows how to aim, you'll be crying, because your arrow's going to get shot directly back at you, and they have a 50-50 chance of choosing the right direction that you go. So,
Which
good
way
luck.
is it gonna go?
Yeah, you want left this time? Better aim right next time.
Sempronox also asks a couple of other questions. One we've actually answered in the, is there going to be another useful water arrow going to be implemented? I think we discussed that. Do you think of adding some trait to the elf class again, as for defending, changing? What role is the elf supposed to be mainly at the moment? We've already touched on this a bit, but I think
Currently,
really
like in
have a
game,
role at the minute.
like okay, before the rework, it has two potential things. So capping is the first, right? Offensive support is there, but I don't think it's an actual like viable role because water element's like incredibly weak. So I think capping is the one, and the other one honestly would be like defensive support. I think.
I think I could say capping, but only if there isn't a ninja on defense. Because if there is a ninja on defense, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah. So those are the two roles that's like semi-viable in at the moment. But we're kind of looking, I guess, to put it in a more kind of offensive, defensive support role, like a class that can switch between the two, which, again, is something like, for example, Medic can do that.
Yep. I'll just add one final question in there, not from Sempronox, but from Camino Kari, because it's about Elf, and we're probably not going to touch on Elf again in this podcast series. Will you make Elf easier to play? I don't think we really touched on this, because we talked about balancing the different abilities, but we never touched on...
Well, I think the Wind Elf, like the right-click on the wind that we talked about possibly adding, definitely that's a lot easier than the previous Wind Element. Water Element, I think, is definitely easier too, because like you don't have to like aim and spam at a player. You can just like set it down in an area.
But I mean, we talk about how it had a high skill cap, but do we want it to keep a high skill cap?
Well, okay, I agree with a high skill cap, but not as high of a skill curve.
Yeah, because...
Yeah, you shouldn't have to, like, hardcore main the class to make it useful. But if you do that, there should be some rewards.
And obviously there should be some limits to how powerful you can get. You can't just... It's kind of on the same scale as Dwarf was originally. You want it to be gaining... Once you curve, you want it to be good, but you don't want it to be, like, sharp as 35.
No, we'll get to Dwarf next podcast, the removal of Dwarf.
Don't worry, that is
the removal of Dwarf.
I'm sure there's questions about that. Okay.
We hop in, we all just agree to remove Dwarf 5-minute podcast.
Yeah, I will put out another thread about that, definitely.
Yeah, so we're removing out Archer and Dwarf. Every class is now allowed in matches.
Why would you let Engineer in matches? How could you do this?
Hey, I mean, I might be of the unpopular opinion here, but I would rather see an Engineer than an Archer in my match.
Wow.
Hey, well, you know what's a good idea? Make it that Engineer, Elf, and Pyro can just headshot with arrows. Genius.
You know what's a good idea?
Oh, yeah.
And now we get to the great idea.
A good idea is that we should outro this podcast so that it doesn't take up my hard drive space.
So that wraps up the first ever Nerfed podcast where Admiral Munson didn't even bother showing up.
And I almost fell asleep during the middle of it, actually.
I now have to...
It was boring for you.
I now have to
I was leaned back all the way in my chair. I actually almost fell asleep, so my mom walked by and she's like, are you falling asleep? I'm like, oh, I have a podcast.
Well, one thing that came out of this is...
Yeah, staff committee, of course, cares deeply about these issues.
I love everybody in every class.
I'm now going to have to rewatch this footage to remember what the ideas were that I randomly came up with during the podcast and write them down. So, see you guys next time.
See you guys.